It is 6 o'clock. Let's give it 30 seconds for people to continue to stream into our Zoom room as we celebrate Shabbat together. If you're not in gallery view and you'd like to see the members of our community, I encourage you to click on the top right of your screen as I kind of scan through and get to see you amidst our physical distance. It's great to come together as a community. I think we can begin in song. What do you say, Cantor?
Let's do it. Let's join together. Ya lai la lai lai ya lai la lai ya lai la 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 lai la lai ya lai la lai lai ya lai la lai ya lai la 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 lai la lai I lai lai ya lai la lai lai ya lai la lai ya lai la lai lai ya la la lai lai ya lai la lai lai ya lai la lai ya lai la 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 lai la lai ya lai la lai lai ya lai la lai ya lai la 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 lai la lai ya lai la lai lai ya lai la lai ya lai la 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 lai la lai ai lai lai ya lai la lai lai ya lai la lai a lai la lai lai ya la la lai lai ya lai la lai lai ya lai la lai ya lai la 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 lai la lai ya la lai 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 lai.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Let's give each other a heart tap so that we can see one another and greet each other. It's good to see you. Today was the 8th day of Hanukkah, and I was studying a little bit about Hanukkah, and I saw an interesting discussion, which was, why is Hanukkah a celebration of 8 days of miracles? It should be 7 days. You see, if they found enough oil for 1 day, but it lasted for 8 days, then 1 day is not a miracle at all. It's really 7 days of miracle, because 1 day there was enough oil. There was no miracle there. So then shouldn't it be a 7-day festival representing 7 days of miracle? And the rabbi said, wait a minute. Yes, it's true that the miracle was 7 days that the oil lasted. But the miracle of the 8th day is that the Maccabees lit the oil at all, because they could have seen 1 day's worth of oil and just said, hey, let's give up. There's no reason to light this. It's not going to last very long. But they lit it anyway. And so that was 1 day's worth of miracle. And then the oil lasted for 7 extra days. Just a reminder that sometimes when we step forward and do something that we think may not work, it actually does. And the thing is to take that step in the right direction. And that's what our community has done. Sometimes when the world seems dark, we've taken that step in the right direction, and we've seen tremendous light grow forth. So it was a wonderful holiday to see us celebrate and give light Now we say goodbye to Hanukkah. Unfortunately, we get to welcome a new holiday, which is Shabbat. And Cantor Zell, can you introduce the Mentimeter to kind of give us some intentions and intentionality about our time together?
Yes. So, as we've done in weeks past, Rabbi Sherman's going to share his screen. If you can take a second device or open up a new web window in your computer and go to menti.com and use the code 9853086. We hope that you will help share your intention that you've set for this evening. Perhaps you have joined us to connect to God or a higher purpose. Perhaps Shabbat for you is to remember a person that you love or to observe a yard site. Maybe music is what brings you to our TBE Shabbat experience, or perhaps you're seeking structure, a way to reflect on the past week. Maybe you're with us to refocus on your values and become a better person. Or perhaps you're with us simply to connect with your community and your family. I personally know that all of these things are meaningful to me, and it's really quite magical to see the scales shift as each of you sets your intention for the Shabbat. And so my thought is we're seeing an average, just so you know, of 1 to 5 in terms of how you're voting. But certainly none of these intentions are worth more than the other. And so we'll continue to post this code in our chat box. So as people join later, they're still welcome to share their intention. And maybe before the end of our service, we'll come back to it and see how these scales continue to shift. So we hope that you are able to fulfill your intention tonight.
Are we continuing with the Niggun, Cantor? Perhaps?
Yes, I have that with my friend Ryan. Ryan, are you ready?
There he
I
is.
am ready. I am here. 6:01, my computer crashed, but we're back.
Oh.
We're here. So if I'm in a weird spot on your screen, I promise I'm still here somewhere. And I can see some of you, and it's wonderful. Let's join together.
So thank you, Ryan, for reminding us that Shabbat doesn't just arrive. You have to make it arrive. You have to arrive yourself. As Rabbi Sisselmine began by sharing with us, you have to have the intention to light these candles, prepare and bring yourself to Shabbat. So it is wonderful that you all have made that choice this week, even after a busy week of holiday. So let us bring that light back into our homes that we experienced this week with the lighting of the Shabbat candles. And we are honored the lights of our community, the young leaders of our community. William Goldstein, Jaden Levin, and Ben Briansky are our Bar Mitzvah students of this week. And they will have the honor of lighting our Shabbat candles. So let us light with them as we spotlight them and join together in the blessings.
And so William, if you'll help us light, beautiful. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Mazel tov.
So Mazel tov, William, Jaden, and Ben, thank you. So let us return to gallery mode, and we will continue with Shalom Aleichem as Shabbat arrives with an extra special spirit when it comes each week.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ay, 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 boechem Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni. Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ay, 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 tzeitchem l'shalom,
Continue with Lecha Dodi as we welcome the Shabbat presence.
Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Hishmi'anu el ha'miyuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, Leshem ultiferet v'li tehila, Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nekabela, Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nekabela, Likrat Shabbat, Lechu v'nelcha, Ki hi mekor haberacha, Merosh mikedem, Nesucha, Sof ma'aseh, B'machshava tchila, Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nekabela. Let's move forward 2 slides, stanza 5. Hitoreri, hitoreri, kiva orech, kumi ori, uri, uri, are able to rise in body or spirit, let's do so now to greet the Sabbath bride. Boi v'shalom, atzeret bala, gam besimcha uvetzola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala, olecha dodi likrat kala, o penei Shabbat nekabela, olecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela, penei Shabbat nekabela.
So now that we've welcomed Shabbat together, we center ourselves, perhaps sit up a little taller, place your feet firmly on the ground, take a deep breath, and we continue with the words of Shema Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
And we continue with Ryan leading us, Let There Be Love.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Hashkiveinu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkiveinu leshalom. Ha'amideinu shomreinu lechayim. Ufros aleinu sukhat shlomecha. Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkiveinu leshalom. Let there be love. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. We take a moment as we enter into the Amidah portion of our service, the portion that asks us to open up our lips so that we can declare our praise, the section that holds all of the thoughts, our hopes, our prayers, our anxieties, our joys, our celebrations. It's the section of our service that gets to hold it all. So in a few moments, we're going to open up the chat room. And as we begin to say these words, to allow ourselves to get ourselves ready to open up our lips, I invite you to just put a word or a sentence of something that you're holding on to, some prayer that you would like to be shared, some prayer that you would like to be seen, some prayer that needs to be heard. And we'll join together. You can feel free to rise, whether in body or in spirit, as we join together for the Amidah portion. Adonai, Sefatai Tiftach, V'yagid Tehilatecha, Adonai, Sefatai Tiftach, V'yagid Tehilatecha. Open up our lips so we may praise your name. Open up our hearts so we may feel our pain. Open up our souls, let our love make us whole. We will praise your name, Adonai, Sefatai Tiftach, V'yagid Tehilatecha, Adonai, Sefatai Tiftach, V'yagid Tehilatecha.
Let's continue independently in silent meditation or the words found in the prayer book, and then we'll come together with the words Yehiyu L'Ratzon.
May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, God, my rock and my redeemer. והגיון ליבי לפניך, יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי וגואלי. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי וגואלי. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי וגואלי. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי וגואלי. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך.
The abundance of goodness and blessing in our, and blessings of hope and friendship in our chat. We now turn to a prayer for those in need of healing, those who are suffering from COVID, of illness of any kind, of mind, of body, of spirit, or of soul. And so if you are thinking of someone near or far to you, I invite you to place their name in the chat box as we ask for healing as a community upon them.
מי שברך אבותינו מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. מי שברך אמותינו מקור הברכה לאבותינו. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say
Of course, on Shabbat, we also give thanks for the sacred moments that we've shared during this past week. And so raise your hand if you have celebrated a birthday. And I specifically want to mention Jerry Kassir, who turns 88 today. And Susan Solomon celebrates a birthday as well. And many people who are raising their hands. So happy birthday, Yom Huledet Sameach. How about anniversaries? A winter wedding. I know Charlie and Ronnie McMillan are celebrating their 49th. Thanks for raising your hand. Did it snow on your wedding day? One of you is saying yes, and one of you is saying no. That's the secret to a happy marriage. 49 years. Mazel tov. How about if we want to give thanks for the first people receiving the vaccine this past week? That is a shehechianu moment of deep gratitude. How about healing? I see Bonnie, who I was going to call today because I thought she had an injury, but she is blowing kisses to her grandchildren without hesitation. So I guess you're feeling good as well. So how about healing? Feeling good this week? Excellent. And how about you simply celebrated something new this week, a new opportunity, a new blessing? Perhaps you looked up into the sky. I'm noticing new miracles in the sky, or you celebrated a beautiful Hanukkah. Let us give thanks to God with the words of Shehechianu.
Baruch atah הזמן הזה.
So it has been a very busy week at the temple this week with Hanukkah as we celebrated each and every night. But I do want to share with you a few words on this Shabbat. A few weeks ago, in my film class on a weekday evening that many of you attended, I actually showed a short film called Mendel. It's only about 5 minutes, and I had actually hoped to show it as part of the service tonight. And then I realized, with the help of Cantor Zell, who I sent it to, reminded me that it's probably PG-13, which should make it forbidden on what is intended to be a G-rated service. So thank you, Cantor Zell. But it's a comedy that I think many of the adults in our community will enjoy, as it tells the story of a Hasidic man and his wife who just absolutely love Christmas. The trees, the lights, the songs, and ultimately their family's coming over and they try to hide it, everything. And it's really cute and it's really funny. And in a crazy way, I think it shows how so many of us have a deep appreciation for Christmas. For instance, if I sang Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, how many people could recite the next line? Raise your hands. It's pretty high. All right, now we have to, how about chestnuts roasting on an open fire? Raise your hands. You got it? Oh, impressive, but not so impressive. Sometimes even as a rabbi, I must admit that I find myself humming a carol or two, as Christmas can be a time of joy for all of us, as we see the lights of our neighbors' eyes shine with a deep sense of joy and gratitude. Now, in truth, it wasn't always this way for the Jewish community. In Eastern Europe, where anti-Semitism was quite pervasive, Christmas was actually a time of pogrom, where Jews had to close their doors and shut themselves off from the outside world. But not in America. It's the most wonderful time of the year, wrote George Weil, who was actually born Bernie Weissman. And Weil had a co-composer by the name of Edward Pola, but Pola was actually born Sidney Polacek, the son of Hungarian Jews. It's amazing how many Christmas songs were actually written by educated Jews. Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire, Robert Wells, who was actually born as Robert Levinson. Silver Bells was written by Jay Livingston, who was actually born as Jacob Harold Levison. Santa Claus is Coming to Town, it's Fred Coots. Winter Wonderland, Felix Bernard. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Johnny Marks. White Christmas, Irving Berlin. Every single one of them went to Hebrew school. Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow, written by Sammy Kahn, who was actually Samuel Cohen, and Jules Stein, who was actually Julius Stein. Jews embraced the dominant culture as soon as they arrived to America, providing joy and laughter, often by writing songs for their Christian neighbors. But ultimately, they realized that to be a Jew in America meant creating rituals for themselves, not appropriating the holidays and rituals of others, but creating something uniquely American and uniquely Jewish. And of course, on Christmas, that Jewish observance became Chinese food. Of course, Chinese food, a modern day Jewish ritual to unite a community and allow us to celebrate a day when so many other Americans are rejoicing in church. It all started, it seemed, in New York City on the Lower East Side, where the largest Jewish population lived in the 19th century. And that large Jewish population lived next to the second largest immigrant community that was largely non-Christian. And that was the Chinese American community. And so on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, it was the perfect match. After all, unlike Italian food or other ethnicities, Chinese food largely didn't have dairy, allowing someone who kept kosher at home by separating milk and meat to feel like they could order almost anything off of the menu. And as we all know, even when a dish did have pork in it, which was clearly forbidden, it was usually wrapped in a noodle, like a wonton, disguised to the eyes, or chopped so fine you would barely notice. And so Christmas and Chinese food and the Jewish community became the perfect match. And then what happened after dinner or before? Well, you probably know, the movies, an inexpensive entertainment that was open on Christmas Day. And so we've learned for next week, Shabbat Christmas, COVID style, exactly what to do. Of course, this year has to be a little different. We can't eat in Chinese restaurants, and the movie theaters are closed. So here's the plan for TBE. I hope next Friday at around 4 o'clock, maybe even earlier, you decide on your favorite local Chinese restaurant and place an order. And make sure it can be picked up by 5:30. And then get this, COVID style, you can bring your Chinese food to services. And after services, we're going to have meeting rooms open to share your lo mein and your mushu chicken and your favorite dishes. And then after Zoom, I hope you'll turn on your computer or your television and watch a movie, that time-tested Jewish ritual that brings our people together. Now for families, I recommend Full Court Miracle. It's a really cute and meaningful Hanukkah movie. For adults, I'm going to recommend Mendel, the short film that I couldn't show you this evening, but I'm going to place the link in the chat room after this talk. Or I really suggest an Israeli TV show or a movie. We are actually living in the golden age of Israeli television. And our Israeli brothers and sisters who are producing TV are noticing great success for about 1 or 2 seasons until they get gobbled up by American television. But it's usually starting on Israeli television. And that's how we're going to celebrate, because it is good to be Jewish in America. And knowing that we need to be inside this year, unlike most other years, I'm going to quote the words of Sammy Cohen and Julius Stein, 2 nice yeshiva buchers who went to Hebrew school thinking, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Good Shabbos.
Rabbi, I have never been the arbiter of appropriate content, so thank you for this new role. I hope everyone will enjoy Mendel. Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. It doesn't show signs of stopping, and I brought some corn for popping. The lights are turned way down low. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. When we finally kiss goodnight, how I'll hate going out in the storm. But if you really hold me tight, all the way home I'll be warm. The fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still goodbye. But as long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
So let us return to our Shabbat liturgy as we spend a moment in blessing and praise for those who led us to this moment with the words of the Mourner's Kaddish. So if you are here in observance of a Yortzeit, the anniversary of the death of a loved one, or are in a period of mourning, I invite you to place their name in our chat box. And as you do so, we recall those who have passed in the last 30 days in our community: Judith Berg, Rebecca Cohen, Richard Patrick Hock, Elaine Cadets, Carol Kerr, Stephen Trainer, and Herbert Turney. And so if you are a mourner among us, I invite you to rise so that we can recognize you at this time. And together, we offer these sacred and holy words. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, bi'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayichon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehe shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam olmei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei dekudsha brichu. Leila mikol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehe shalama Rabbah min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
So before Kiddush and Motzi, there continues to be a lot happening in the life of our community. And so we invite you to Minyan and Torah study tomorrow, Shabbat. Sunday, there's ISEP, Israel Current Events. Monday, there's study with Rabbi Sherman. Tuesday, lunch and learn. Wednesday, a virtual tour of Israel with a focus on the Christian sites in preparation for Shabbat Christmas, to see a unique side of Israel, as though you were touring with evangelical eyes. Friday, there's Talmud study. And then, of course, we gather next Friday night for our service and Chinese food, oneg. Coming in January, I do want to say, look for a number of support groups being created by our mental health initiative and our new social worker, Daphne Bernstein. We are also taking names for upcoming Israel trips. We're hoping that travel will return within 2021. And finally, we were thinking that a good use of pandemic time in your house is to learn a new skill, which is, if you don't read Hebrew, you can do it in only 4 sessions. So we're going to start some Hebrew reading classes for those who are not able to decode and would like to. So make sure you're on our broadcasts. So let's turn to Kiddush and Motzi.
I always forget my Kiddush cup down here in my basement. So I'm wondering if someone can hold up a Kiddush cup for me. We'll join together. If anyone has a Kiddush cup, let's raise them up high. Let's all join together.
Are we able to Jumbotron through the Kiddush?
I think it's a great idea. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, ve'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. L'chaim.
L'chaim, l'chaim. And now let's see a beautiful challah. And then we'll open up the microphones and wish each other Shabbat Shalom.
Baruch atah Adonai. I'm singing some chalot. Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Mazel tov to William and Jaden and Ben who lead us tomorrow. Let's open up the microphones and hear each other's voices.
Yeah.
Bye, Johnny.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat.